What is up, fanatics, fan guy addicts? It's your boy, Josh Fanguy, coming to you with another edition of the Ultimate Fan Guy. Um, so today we're going to go back to another one of our top 11 lists. Today we're going to be doing my top 11 adventure, drama, sci-fi shows. Now these are going to be shows that are not action based. So you're not going to be seeing any Spartacus or Into the Badlands on this list. That's saved for my action list, which I do have written out already, but is not today's show. So these shows are going to be more sci-fi, drama, or adventure oriented. Some of them do have action, obviously, but I wouldn't classify them as action shows. So we're going to jump right into it. The Ultimate Fan Guys top 11 action, drama, sci-fi, adventure shows. First, we're going to have an honorable mention. So I could have just called it a top 12 list, but you know we don't do that here. So our honorable mention on today is a show called Lost Girl. This is a really cool show. It aired on a Canadian sci-fi. It's about the world of various creatures like homeboy. I mean, I'm trying not to give any spoilers outside of maybe the first episode, but like the guy I'm circling with the mouse, he's a werewolf. This chick's a succubus. This guy's like a royal member of something. This chick's a lesbian doctor, and this guy's like a magic dwarf guy. And this is Ksenia Solo, who is just a bad, bad biatch. She is just a human, but she's really hot in this show. So there's that. So this show is about just the underworld of creatures and how there's like good creatures you know, and bad creatures and how they're eternally at war, like the light versus the dark. So it's a very cool show. If you haven't seen it, definitely worth watching if you like sci-fi and you have decent taste in shows. And it went on for quite a while. And for me personally, it actually kept me pretty held for the first few seasons, at least. Like I was pretty into it. So, Lost Girl comes in at number 12, and it's a great show. Or we'll go honorable mention. So that's Lost Girl. Moving on to our number 11, Prison Break. So my friends Sarah and Sam got me into this show years and years ago. I didn't start watching it until I think the end of the second season is when I actually started watching it for the first time. But I did go back, obviously, and watch the first season, and then watch all of the second season, and then I watched all of the third season. And now I will say it actually kind of got worse as it went along. Like so many shows, the first season for me was the best, and I really enjoyed the third season as well, where they're in Sona. But again, I'm not going to get too many spoilers. The second season was okay too. It's just a great show. It basically centers around these two brothers who, again, the spoilers I give are going to be for episode one. Basically, this brother, who is Dominic Purcell, he's in jail, and this brother, Wentworth Miller, gets himself arrested so that he could break his brother out of jail. Thus the concept, Prison Break. So it's a cool show. There's a lot of twists and turns, a lot of really cool characters. I mean, this guy right here is named Teabag, if that tells you anything. Yes, Theodore Bagwell. You even got Homegirl from The Walking Dead and stuff. So even Mike Jones, I believe, does a little cameo in season 2. So very cool show. It'll keep you hooked from at least seasons 1 to the end of season 3. So if you're looking for something, you haven't seen Prison Break before, this is a great show. It'll totally keep you entertained. And I heard it's actually coming out with a new season soon, after being gone for a while. So super stoked about that. And then just yeah, it's a great show about breaking out of prison. Moving on, number 10. I mean, how do you not know this crew right here? Literally, the crew of the Star Trek Enterprise. Star Trek The Next Generation is going to be number 10 on my list. I mean, this show went on for years, like 10 plus seasons, and every season was great. The cast is so memorable. The actors and actresses did such a great job of playing their respective roles. I mean, obviously Patrick Stewart is Jean-Luc Picard, and William Riker, who has the most magnificent beard in all of Star Trek. This is just a great show. You're probably familiar with the show at least a little, and it's definitely worth a watch if you haven't seen it. It's my favorite of all the Star Trek series. I think it's the most iconic. They had like 5 or 6 spin-off movies, and it's great. It's the adventures of the Star Trek Enterprise. So that comes in at number 10. Number 9, Supernatural. I believe it's in its final season right now on TV. So I think this one's about to wrap up. It has also been running for 10 seasons or so. Great show. I still actually, honestly, am not even caught up. I've only watched the first maybe 6 or 7 seasons of this, and it's pretty good. I really enjoy it. It's the story of two brothers, Sam and Dean Winchester, who fight evil supernatural forces, and they go around trying to help people that are having supernatural issues. Castiel, this guy's a character that comes along a little later, and it's just a great show. It really it's another fantasy show. Obviously, you can see that I'm all about that, and it's really good. The homeboy over here made news this week actually because he just got in a huge bar fight in Austin where he lives and owns a bar or something, and he punched out his manager and punched out some other guys. So that's kind of in the news lately. But Supernatural is a great show. Again, two brothers. You even got Negan who plays their father, um, and yeah, just a phenomenal show. Every episode, the episodes don't necessarily gel together in terms of the seasons aren't like a cohesive story necessarily. A lot of them are standalone episodes, but totally worth watching. Good mindless entertainment there. Moving on to number 7, Westworld. So I'm still waiting for the new season of Westworld, which is supposed to be coming out any day now. The first season was awesome. The second season was pretty good. Definitely looking forward to what comes next. This is a show about a theme park full of robots where humans go to have vacations and basically do whatever they want to the robots. And there's all kinds of stories and stuff like that the robots do. So very cool concept, really good execution, well acted. Just a great show. And like I said, whenever you get a network like HBO, Stars, and Showtime, they can do a little bit more. They can show some boobies. They can say some bad words. They can get a little more violent. And all these are things I like. So, needless to say, you're going to notice that some of the shows a little higher on my list are network like that shows because they can just do a little more. So Westworld was great. Great story. Just great show. If you haven't seen it, definitely worth checking out for sure. Even Anthony Hopkins is in it, so I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. Moving on to another HBO show. This is True Blood. True Blood. Um, Funny, the text I just got because I forgot to silence my phone is from my boy Go, who convinced me to use this nifty headset this time because he said my audio was kind of ratchet. So I appreciate my friends for stepping up and letting me know what I can do to improve this. I'm trying to put out the best product I can for you guys and get this thing off the ground. So we're trying with this microphone today to see how it goes. And so thanks, Go. I'm about to tell him that when I get done with this recording, but I appreciate the input for sure. So anyway, we're talking about True Blood. This is a show about vampires and werewolves. Obviously, everyone in this picture is a vampire, but there are werewolves in the show as well and other creatures. This show centers around. Wow, she's not even shown here. That's pretty funny. She's not a vampire. Sookie Stackhouse, Anna Paquin. She basically falls in love with a vampire, so it's kind of that classic tale. very Twilight-esque, if you will. And then it's just kind of the story of how that evolves and other vampires get introduced and organizations that are hunting vampires, et cetera, et cetera. There's some very memorable characters, including her brother Jason, who is not shown here as well. And it's just a great show. I did enjoy every single season of True Blood, and if you haven't seen True Blood, it's definitely worth a look if you like that kinds of stuff. Moving on, this is where things started getting trickier for me. Um, Number 6, Firefly. Now, Firefly is one of my favorite series ever, and it could have ranked higher on this list. The reason it didn't is because it was canceled really early. It only had one season, and it definitely got canceled before its time. The characters here, including Nathan Fillion's character Mal, you got Adam Baldwin. It's just a Marina Baccarin. Just a phenomenal show. It was kind of a sci-fi space odyssey show, and it rocked. I'll just leave it at that. It was Joss Whedon's show, and it was just canceled too soon. There's been so many efforts to reboot it or to get it going again, and I would love to see that happen because it is 100% a fantastic show. So if you haven't seen Firefly, find a way to dig it up and check it out. That came in at number 6. Number 5, The Magicians. This is where things got really hard for me to rank because I really do enjoy this show to number 1. Like, I really enjoy all the 5 last shows that I'm about to talk about. This show has a lot of twists and turns, so without being too spoilery here, I'm just going to say this show is about, initially it's about a guy who discovers that magic is real and gets into like a hidden secret university, kind of like Hogwarts, where they teach magic and they teach people how to use magic. The cast is great. It is a very emotional roller coaster of a show. The stories are really cool. It deals with a lot of fantasy stuff. So if you have not seen The Magicians, it is super, super worth watching. But I will warn you to just brace yourself. It's actually a pretty emotional show, and it really hits a lot of different areas of society, and I think it appeals to just about anybody. So if you haven't seen The Magicians, again, definitely check The Magicians out. It's got musical numbers in it. It's got everything. It's got everything in it. And it could have easily been ranked maybe even number 1 or 2 on this list because I thoroughly love this show, and I can't wait for the next season. Numero 4, Breaking Bad. Mr. Heisenberg and Mr. Jesse Pinkman, in your face. So this show is about a mild-mannered guy, teacher, who gets sort of wrapped up in the world of meth cooking and meth dealing. And that's the short and simple version of it. He's a chemistry guy, and he starts cooking meth and becomes basically a drug kingpin. That's really all I got to say about that. It's a fantastic show from front to back. I believe it's ranked as the number 1 show of all time currently on certain lists that are, they do their own list. I do mine. It easily could be argued to be the best show of all time. It's a roller coaster as well, memorable characters and fantastic job. Moving on, numero 3, Heroes. So this show really started off at a high note and kind of just got a little worse with each season. That being said, the first season of this show for me is so nostalgic that I simply have to include it on the list and at a very high place. This show is about superheroes that discover they're superheroes. People who just discover powers one day and discover that they're special. And people who want to be special. And the nerdy superhero lover in me is just, this was the original. This show is amazing, amazing, amazing. And if you haven't seen it and you ever get a chance to, at least watch season 1. You will be hooked from front to back. I promise you. Moving on to number 2. Dexter. Now, this one was close to being on the action list, but I think there's enough episodes that don't really have a lot of action to call it just a drama and more of an adventure tale. This show centers around Dexter Morgan. Who is this guy? Michael Hall, I believe is his name. And he works for the police department as a blood spatter analyst, so he works around blood. But he is a serial killer of serial killers and of bad people. So he is like a serial killer, but the only people he kills are criminals who escape justice or, are terrible people. Um, he makes the show. He makes this show. He plays the role perfectly. The characters around him, the ensemble are really good, but you can just see the gears going in his head with each episode, and it's really cool to see like the mind of a serial killer, but he only kills bad people. So he's like the super anti-hero. And if you haven't seen Dexter, also definitely worth checking out. It is on Netflix, I believe, right now, and so pretty easy access to it. I'm actually rewatching it right now again for like the second or third time because it's just a great show. It's a fantastic show, and it's a wild ride. And finally, my number one adventure drama esque show. I mean, obviously, it's Lost. This show was polarizing in the fact that it was an amazing show. Like you see all that whole list of like characters, like all so many people. This show did not center around one person or two people or even three people. It centered on an entire island of people. Basically, um, these people are all riding a plane and it crashes onto this island, and they are now trapped on this island and they can't contact the outside world. They don't know what's going on. There's all kinds of crazy weird things and strange bunkers and stuff on the island that they're trying to solve. um, it is a masterpiece of American cinema. So if you haven't seen Lost, I would definitely find a way to see it. The characters are super memorable. It is binge watchable. It's a fantastic show from front to back. And it takes a lot of twists and turns too. So there you have it. I was trying to keep this one under 20 minutes. I did. I wanted to keep it under 15 to be honest, but beggars can't be choosers. So it's going to finish at about 18 minutes today. But yeah, that's my list of shows. We had Lost Girl, Prison Break, Star Trek: The Next Generation, Supernatural, Westworld, True Blood, The Magicians, Firefly, Breaking Bad, Heroes, Dexter, and Lost. That is going to be my top 11/12 adventure drama shows of all time. If you like the video, drop a like, drop a comment in the link below. Let me know you liked it. Let me know if I forgot a show that you thought was amazing, and maybe I'll check it out and review it, and we can go on that adventure together. Want to thank all the fan addicts and fan guy addicts for stopping by today. I truly, truly love you all and appreciate y'all time and this adventure we're going on together. So much love, and I hope to see you back soon.